Structural Design Package Video 4. Finishing out the structure for our residential home, we will add an exterior wall to the attic floor level to fill in the space between the porch area all the way to the back of the house. Now there's two ways to do this. We can edit the wall of the first floor level, and we can trace in the boundary over the porch, and that will make the wall complete. Or we can do another method as well, which I'll teach you here. We're going to go to the second floor, floor plan view, and on the left hand side above our first floor wall, which is on underlay, so we'll show you underlay real quick. The underlay is the view that is below the current view that you are in. So for example, we have the second floor view shown, and I'm going to hide the second floor view. Actually, we won't do that. I will show you the base view is first floor, and it's up to the second floor. So we have our second floor view, which is looking down, and then we have our first floor view shown below the second floor view. So we can turn this off, and you will see nothing because the entire first floor plan is now hidden, and you have nothing on the underlay feature. But we do want to see the underlay feature because we want to see the first floor walls below our second floor view. So just know that there is an option in Revit to turn on and off different floor plan views based on what you need to see. For example, you could be in a basement and want to see the level above you, so you would turn on the underlay for first floor view. And likewise, if you're designing a two-story home and you're in the first floor view, you want to see the second floor above you in your view, you can turn on the underlay as well. It can be views above and views below. Alright, so we'll turn back on the first floor view. And I see that I have a wall here for the exterior of my home. And now I'm going to draw another wall on top of that. So I'm going to go to my Architecture tab and click on Wall, and choose the same basic wall, exterior, wood siding on wood stud. And the height will be up to the roof level, so same idea with as before. When we have our height, we want to pin it to a floor line so that when we change the floor line, it automatically moves. Our location line is still finished face, or excuse me, core face. No, we'll do finished face here. Here's why. Because we do not see any detail in this view of the core of the wall versus the actual face of the wall. All I see is the complete inside line of the wall and the complete exterior line of the wall. So we're going to do finish face here. We'll click the outside wall, and you'll see that it's actually on the opposite side. That's okay. You hit spacebar and it'll go right back to the location you're looking for. So spacebar will flip the wall. We can zoom out, click and hold the mouse wheel to pan, as we learned before, and we will go all the way down to the edge of the porch. Alright, we have our wall in place, and now we will go back to the 3D view on the 2D left elevation, and you'll see the wall is here. So now we need to attach this wall to the roof. Same procedure, we click on the wall, attach, and then we can click on the roof. Now most of the time this actually happens. Revit will clean up one side, but sometimes the way that the wall is drawn and the roof intersection, it doesn't always clean out both sides. So we will undo that and edit the profile. That's another way to do it. We'll also need to move down the base of the wall to cover the attic floor that we put in earlier. So we're going to remove the constraints for that. It's okay if we remove the constraints. We're going to move this wall over a little bit as well so that it intersects. We can remove constraints, not a problem. We will pick lines and pick those same bottom 2 lines of the roof. We will trim the corners together, so trim, trim, and trim, trim. Now we must have a continuous boundary of lines, and if we have extra lines we must delete them, because let me just go ahead and simulate it. Revit will say no. Lines cannot intersect each other, so we're going to continue. We're going to delete these lines. It's okay to delete them as long as we have a continuous boundary. We know that the wall will appear inside the boundary. So we'll click with the green check, and there's our wall. Okay, and if I do hold down Shift in the mouse wheel, you'll see that my roof is over my porch. My wall is over the porch above to shield in the attic from the outside. It's lined up with the wall because we know that we did that correctly on the second floor view. And last thing we need to do is add 2 porch columns to support the ceiling and roof framing. So we'll go back to first floor. We'll zoom in. And the best way to do this, I found, is you can see what the final result will look like. We're going to use model lines here. Now, model lines are great. You'll use these in the interior wall video coming up next. And you'll need this to draw lines that aren't 3D. They're 2D lines that you can use to pin objects to. So we'll click model line. We can offset these lines. So I'm assuming that that offset off of the slab is 1 inch or 2. So we'll say 2 inches is my offset. And then we can draw them. They look just like walls. So we can draw down and click. And this chain button is selected. It's on. So now I can continuously draw lines and not have to apply the command every time. So I'm still drawing lines. And I can go all the way across so that my right column can be pinned, and still drawing lines. So now I have a 2-inch offset so I can place my porch column in. Ignore these boxes. Yours will be pinned to the line that I have shown here. I guess my line was 1.5 inches. Okay, so we're going to go to architectural columns. That's right here, column. We're going to click the drop down menu and we'll choose architectural. If we use structural, that's different. That's in the structure part of the software that we won't touch this semester. That's more for the structural engineers and the folks who are trying to design the actual skeleton of the building. We're designing the space. So we're going to stick in the architecture section. Architectural column. We have a 8x8 wood column. We're going to stick with one of these columns. We'll do 8x8 for this home. And we can drop it in. It's best to drop it in outside, honestly. And then use your align tool again to place those, or to move these columns exactly where you want them. Hence why we drew in the model lines first. Excuse me. So the first thing we click after we click on the align tool is the line where we want something to go. We want something to go to this line. And then the second click is what element we want to move. Just like that. So same thing again, click on the line, then click on the element, and then boom, there it is, perfectly offset both on the up and down axis and the left and right axis. Same thing here, we'll go back, we'll go to column, the architectural column, and that will activate the last element we used. Click it down, and then we can align. Line to column and line to column. Now we have a difference here. Let me show you exactly what that is. This column is touching the wall above, and this column is not touching a wall above, so the wall features transformed themselves down to the column. Not a big deal. We'll fix that. We definitely don't want them different. We'll go back to 3D view. And we will click on the column and we want to attach the column to the floor level above. So same thing here, click the column, attach, and then find that floor system in here. By hovering over, you'll see it highlight and click. So that shaves down the height of our columns so that they are exactly touching the top of the floor system, or excuse me, the bottom of the floor system. All right, so here is my final structure project. We will continue with interior walls next, but you will submit the structure package onto Canvas based on the criteria. So you'll need to export pictures, and you'll put them on a PowerPoint, and you'll submit the PowerPoint. Oh, one more thing. Timeout. Our base offset. Our base offset for the floor slab was -4, so we will also need -4 inches as well for both columns. There's always something to catch. -4 inches for the base, and now we're touching and we're good to go. So check Canvas, check for the information needed, and make sure you submit exactly what's requested, and then you can move on to the interior walls video, which is next.